Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of Your Authenticity Witches Tarot Readings. Today's reading is How Can I Be More Authentic? We have three piles to choose from. Pile number one is the dogtooth calcite. Pile number two is brecciated jasper, and pile number three is the crimson healer. So choose your pile, and I'll see you there.
Hello, and welcome to pile number one. This topic today is how can I be more authentic? Now, a little bit of shopkeeping. If you like this video, please leave a comment down below. Please subscribe. Please, let me know what you dug, okay? I also do readings on Etsy. If you would like your very own reading, please find me on Etsy. Links will be where the links are. Now, to get into your reading. Pile number one is this beautiful dogtooth calcite. And the prompt, of course, is how can I be more authentic? So for today's cards, we have the Ace of Swords, the Page of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, the Moon, and the High Priestess. And as always, I have some oracle cards for you, but we're going to save those for last. So first and foremost, the main energy of this reading is dedicated work on a task, moving forward, having the idea to move forward, and then doing it. These cards are particularly interesting. These cards are particularly interesting because they're almost like the same card, but a little bit of difference. So with the Ace of Swords, this card is an intellectual spark, right? An idea that says, I think of a thing, I'm going to do the thing. And it's really like the budding stages, right? And like with this inspiration and intellect, you actually have the most power to conceive and follow through on the path of that idea. Conversely, we have the Page of Swords. With the Page of Swords, this owl, it's bringing a lot of the same energy, right? We have the sharp intellect, we have it cutting through. We have now, as we've like gone through all of the stages of the different swords, been able to see that you have like built your intellect through time, right? You're going now into this place where like you have a better idea of like where it is you want to take the path that has been like drawn for you as you literally draw your sword and mark the line in the sand, right? Of like where you want to go and how you want to proceed forward. So, what's interesting is this card is marking that there's still work to be done, right? So, you've gone on this journey through all of the swords and you're still at this place where you need work, where you need refinement, right? You still have the tools, you still have the intellect, but you need to sort of like parse out what's important in your mind versus what is just noise. So that's pretty interesting as far as those cards being the same, but like a little bit different. To me, it's really like you are setting off with like already an idea of what it is that you needed to do in general to become more authentic, and it's absolutely everything that is within the realm of your mind. Almost like you've been held back from taking a step forward until this time, because of the things that your mind is telling you English, it's tough. But now you have like the ability to see what it is that would actually be helpful for you to move forward on this path. Um, mhm, yes. So let's talk a little bit about kind of the same energy. First and foremost, I want to talk about the moon. We have the moon, and the moon. Now, this Pentacles card is a little bit of the same thing, right, when it comes through here, but it's about repetition, okay, and the creation of success through repetition, right? So you have now 3 cards that are telling you that not only that you know the path, not only that you have been able to parse out what it is that you need to do because you've been paying attention, because you've been listening with your intellect, now we have the ability for you to set up uh, a routine or a task or like a plan of action that allows you to actually do the things that you wanted to implement. So maybe it's about like starting a new hobby or moving careers or actually allowing yourself to be seen by, like, I don't know, playing piano in public, or finally telling your friends that you want to be a magician. I'm just throwing stuff out here. um but it's something that allows you to like unleash a facet of yourself that you hadn't really taken into consideration, right? And to me, this Pentacles is like, because the path is so long and it's like methodical and requires repetition, it is something that you have already been able to hone. It's like a fine craft, right? And now is the time where you recognize that in order to step into your budding, authentic truth is to allow people into that facet of yourself, right? And I'm going to talk about the moon and the sun. But like, if we didn't have the sun reflecting onto the moon, we wouldn't be able to see the moon. And so when I think about you, pile one, in this reading, I really think about how you're reflecting one side of yourself out into the world. It reminds me of human design and the projector, and being able to create a reality with the people around you based on what it is that you are projecting, what you are bringing forth. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of like the tool, like the thing that you have going on for you, is that you have this capacity to artfully create reality. And part of that for you, part of this aspect feels very art driven. Now, I know that I got really off track because I did want to talk about the moon and the fact that we have a lot of moon connections, but I'm just going to go ahead and talk about this card as well, which is the Eight of Pentacles, which really echoes into, again, this repetition, the ability to use your intellect to create a path, to master a task or a project or an idea. And when it comes to the Pentacles, right, we think about like wealth, right? But is this actually going to be money, or is the wealth that we're going to be seeing the blossoming of your yourself, the aspect of yourself that you have been keeping hidden for a while, right? For a while, something that maybe you've only done in private. And that could be another aspect of this moon, is that you have been practicing the hobby or talking yourself up about this for a while, and it's taken you a really long time to get the courage. But it's almost as if a part of you has been like withering away a little bit without the ability to step into what it means for you to express this aspect of your authenticity. So I'm really glad to see these 4 cards, because it's really showing me that you have this journey mapped out for you, and that almost the quietness that you have been dealing with, and by quietness I mean the lack of allowing people in, has given you a little bit of a gift, and that now you're able to spread your wings with more confidence because you know that you have this skill under locks. Like, you don't actually need to like lock in to do it. It's more second nature for you now. Um which is cool. Like, it should give you more confidence then to go through with it, to go through with allowing people in to see you in that new light, right? We get to know the people we love more by seeing them shine in ways we never got to see them shine before. And for you, this is going to be a really big way to bridge gaps in your relationships and to make you feel more secure in the world around you, because you won't have to hide. And whatever it is that you have been hiding isn't anything for you to be ashamed of. Like, I'm not feeling like anything is weird, like you have some weird, crazy secret. It just feels like it was surrounded. It's about confidence. It's about self worth. It's about needing to sort of recalibrate the way that you picture yourself in your mind in order to allow you to connect to expressing that in the physical world. So we're going to get to these moons, I promise. I know I brought them up and then walked away. In regard to this Eight of Cups card, this is very transformative because we are seeing you with the ability to process and mourn and walk away from something that has been causing you a lot of grief. And for me, that grief is centered around not being able to express yourself fully in this aspect of your life. And it's shedding now. It's you're able to move away from it, but there's always going to be, like, since you're in this time of mourning, there's going to be this part of you that is I guess feeling nostalgic and maybe quietly reminiscing of some FOMO a little bit, right? Where you regret and miss that for a long time you didn't feel at home because you were hiding these very important and jovial aspects of yourself. And now that you're expressing them, you're wondering why you never did. And that's okay. I encourage you to explore that feeling and to figure out what that means to you with somebody, or like privately in a journal or whatever, or praying or meditating, whatever way makes sense to you. So that way you can move forward and not carry those emotions with you. Because, I just want to assure you, Pile One, you were doing the best that you could with the information that you had, and no lesson can be skipped, which means that you have to learn a lesson when the lesson is there, one lesson at a time, and we have to move through them in sort of this linear fashion because they build on top of each other like a ladder, right? And the only way to climb up from the darkness is to take one rung at a time. If we skip rungs, we can hurt ourselves, right? And that's sort of how I want you to envision this journey for yourself, right? So do leave the past in the past, but also make a little um, a time to remember who that person is to you, and thank them for being with you, and thank them for holding you and helping you and bringing security to your life at the time in which they did, because for a long time that was your version of security, and it's only now that you've realized that this version, this darkness, right, is what was bringing you insecurity. And so we're just turning, right, we're just allowing the sun and moon, right, to exist in equilibrium, right, your darkness and your lightness to exist at the same time, right, to fill out your existence, right, to make you feel more whole, right, because that's the point of authenticity, right, it's to make you feel more whole, more secure, like you have a good footing, a nice foundation. I missed. Okay, so these moons. Okay, so the moon is interesting because it can be a little bit of the things that are like hiding in the dark that creep us out, and it can also be that intuitive knowing. Um, I think for you, it's both, where you are experiencing the movement of going from what was scaring you in the dark about achieving life and sharing your dreams with people into recognizing now that that darkness brings the light and vice versa. So I'm wondering if, as well, for some of you, there is an intuitive knowing that now is the time, that there's never been a better time, and that you're just super ready to do it. I like the two trees as like either sides of a path, right? Where you can go down the middle and you have this moon as the guiding light in between the two um, trees. So allow yourself to be the guide for yourself, right? Listen patiently and wait and see what makes sense to you. You know, there's no rush. You know, you've just accepted that this is what you want to do, that this is who you are, that this is how you want to express, but you can't just turn it on and expect to go from who you were to who you are. It's definitely like taking that ladder, and that's totally okay. So don't rush yourself. Now, let's talk about the High Priestess, because this is a great card to come here and to sort of um, cement and enhance all of the things that we've been talking about in regard to your cards. The High Priestess is full of a lot of loving, wonderful, feminine energy, a lot of, I want to say, oracle energy, and a lot of creative energy and duality and the balance between light and dark, right? She holds the orb that holds the universe, right? She is everything, she holds all. And she's also connected to the moon, right? That moon in this example is that inner knowing, um, that recognition of lightness and dark, right? That creation of the sun and the moon and how they react together, how they create a whole world, right? If we think of the time of the new moon, where we don't have the moon, but moon's still out there, moon's still doing its thing, we just can't see it because it's behind the earth. Is that how it is? Is it behind the earth? Is that where the sun isn't on it? Don't quote me on that. I'm not good at space. So it's almost as if the whole world, your definition of the world, those people, your peers, the audience that you want to interact with is there, is waiting for you, and does want to hear from you. And you have the power to both create and destroy this path for yourself, because you can either yes and the direction that you're feeling, or yes no the direction that you're feeling. So um I encourage you to move forward and go with it, because I think that you're going to find a lot of um, peace and routine and enjoyment in creation, and some power that you've never really felt before as you step into what it means for you to be whole. And that's really fucking exciting. That's really exciting. Okay, so enough about the High Priestess. Let's look at your oracle cards. I have chosen oracle cards from um, the Southern Gothic Oracle Deck. So we have the possum, the raccoon, a lot of animals for you today, the alligator, oh my god, it's all animals, the crow, and roots. Okay, pause. All right, I'm back. Wait, I have to sneeze. Now I'm back. Okay, so let's talk about roots. Um, this is influence, this is support. In this image, we see a collection of High John, the Conqueror roots resting in a sea-shell dish. High John root, often derived from Impo Mia purga, a plant of the sweet potato family, has many alleged powers, such as winning court cases, enhancing male fertility, or good luck in gambling. The roots are often fed rum or whiskey blessed with prayers and placed in a mojo bag to be carried as a talisman. Are you in a situation where you feel hopeless or restrained? According to lore, John, the spirit in the root, is a liberator of the oppressed, working to grant power to the powerless. If you draw this card, perhaps it is a sign that you need help from the divine, or perhaps your own support network to carry you to higher ground. For some readers, the word roots may simply remind you of family roots and traditions. If you are feeling helpless, ask yourself, what wisdom can I carry from my elders to give me strength I need to succeed? I think to this is foundational. I'm envisioning I'm envisioning removing roots in order to replant roots. Like the soil that you were growing in is no longer the soil for you. Like the pH is all fucked up. And in order for you to thrive, you got to move from one place to the other, right? So it's a deliberate transference of your home from one place to the next, right? Recognizing that in order to create sustainability and roots that are far reaching, something that will give you strength and fortitude, right? You've got to move soil, right? That's what I'm seeing. More than the words influence and support. Um, let's talk about this crow, dashed hopes, and mourning. The crow is a shadow card, but its message does not have to be taken as foreboding. In the Appalachian Mountains, hill folk believe that the sound of a crow's call is an omen of bad tidings. However, it's also seen as a warning from the divine whose signal must be heeded. Have you suffered or will suffer a loss of some kind, and not only that can be so and not one that can be easily shrugged away. This loss will be felt on a deep emotional level, and you must give yourself time to process the hurt of it all. Though it does not represent loss or betrayal, this card is not all bad. Sorry. Though it does represent loss or betrayal, this card is not all bad. The most difficult situations in our lives often teach us more about who we are and what we are capable of than the good times. Give yourself space and time to heal and learn all that you can from this experience. Have the faith and fortitude to reach out to your friends and family for support. They are all souls who wish to guide you at this time. So I just want to call back um, to where are you, Boo? Where are you? Where are you? I just want to call back to this card in regard to honestly both of these cards. Like they sort of frame and uphold what I was saying about this card, right? Um, Mourning the transition of one side of yourself to the next, right? So I do feel talking to friends or family, or friends that you consider family, would be very helpful for you in sorting out, having like allies, right? I think that there's a potential that some of you could be suffering from the inability to share intimate vulnerability, and within that lack of emotional intimacy has made you sort of like marooned on an island, and that island is a lack of true authenticity between you and your friendship group because they don't know the deepest levels of yourself. However, like part of the emergence of a new personality is really that ability to say, like, this is what I had been experiencing and this is what I'm now experiencing. Because oftentimes, when it comes to healing and letting go parts of ourselves, we've been one way for so long that when we start to become another way, it's really terrifying because maybe we don't know who we are anymore, right? Maybe we don't know, we don't recognize this person. And maybe that sense of betrayal is that we don't have the same security and understanding and like sense and in our own identity, right? That allows us to feel stable, right? So, for example, I have complex post traumatic stress disorder. And when I started being healed from that disorder, I really didn't understand any of the emotions that I was feeling because I had only felt anger and depression and just loneliness for so long that when any other thing came up on the scale, I was like, what is happening? What is this? I haven't felt this. I feel insane. And I didn't know how to make that be understood by my therapist, so I just stopped going to therapy. Don't do that. Continue to live in your resources. Okay, let's move on to our next oracle card, which is going to be the alligator. Thank you. I just opened up to the right page. So, the alligator with silence and introspection. American alligators, although once endangered, are common across the southeastern US. There are over 1 million in Florida alone. These ancient creatures live in freshwater environments such as swamps, bayous, wetlands, or any brackish water. The holes alligators can build to lurk in play an important role in ecology, increasing plant diversity and providing habitat for other animals. Although the mothers are nurturing to their young, in general, alligators are solitary, preferring to hunt and sunbathe alone. Being alone can lead to introspection and renewal, but too much isolation can bring with it a kind of slowness or stagnation. The alligator card represents the silence that comes with solitude, which, like the swamp, can be a place of great fertility. Be careful not to hide away for too long in the depths. We humans are social creatures. Um, and we need each other to thrive. Will your isolation ultimately lead to something positive? Okay, so in regard to this card, I want to talk about, again, this High Priestess energy because I do think that the two of these cards are actually connected. When I had stated earlier that we are working with a place that you hold the power to create and destroy this path for yourself, right? This is the entire infinite universe, right? Within this ball, right? She has it all. Think of your life. Think of your capacity to survive and nurture yourself and make it through this time as that picture of the universe. Picture yourself as the universe. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Picture yourself as the universe. Okay, and then imagine yourself as this alligator. Would you want to be connected in a way that you are able to be like the blanket and I Heart Huckabees, right? Where all of the lines of all of the things are connected, right? And everybody is connected to everyone. And there isn't really any isolation because all experiences is somebody else's experience, right? Or do you want to be, again, marooned on an island where you're the only one there? So it's totally cool to take that, but I also feel like this is a switch that's flipping from between you living that lifestyle in recreating your version of the universe, because that's really what's important, is recreating your version of the universe, because you're God in this instance. You're God in this instance. You're doing it. You're the God of your life, and you have the capacity for creation and destruction of your life. That's why they don't want you to take isolation too long, because when you do take isolation too long, you miss the opportunities you could have had if you'd jumped out and taken them, right? So this bitch is a tiger, to like embody that ferocious energy, right? And take that leap of faith, you know, being playful, being active, going out and making those truths happen for yourself. And that's again where like good support and community can be really helpful, because they're here for you and they know what you fucking want. Okay, let's talk about this raccoon. Raccoons are problem solvers. These masked critters are notorious for their intelligence and determination. Unlike so many other species threatened by the sprawl of cities, raccoons have thoroughly adapted to human settlements, learning to find nurturing in our garbage and outbuildings and shelter. Consider this. People used to think raccoons wash their hands before eating, but as it turns out, that's not true. But they do douse their forepaws in water to increase and heighten the sensitivity to touch receptors. Dousing in Southern culture is a form of divination for finding resources such as water. When you draw the raccoon card, perhaps it is a challenge for you to summon your best ideas in order to persevere. Is there a situation in your life that requires you to adapt? Perhaps even break the rules. Okay? The rules that you have created for yourself, okay, and potentially what you deem as societal rules, right? Not actually rules, okay, but societal rules that you have been following, right? And I feel like that's part of the overall like oppression and the inability to accept and create the life for yourself in regard to this like hobby or career or decision, because you you've been afraid to go out, to like break out of the shell, right? To be different, of the to come out of the box. Okay, I hope we're still recording because my low battery mode is happening. Okay, I just have one left. It's the possum. Fuck yeah. um he's card number 31, and we're gonna do this quickly but concisely. Every American state seems to have at least one legend about the mythical being lurking in the woods at night, like Sasquatch or the Boo Hag. In the South, there are dozens of them. Some of the most colorful are the Chupacabra, the Wood Booger, Tennessee's White Bluff Screamer. Oh my god, that sounds terrifying. And the Ozark Fook Monster. Consider, however, the common possum with the body of a cat, the pouch of a kangaroo, the tail of a rat, and the face of a little demon. Our little American marsupial seems to be at least as interesting as any of those other impressive creatures. And the stories from the Suan Biloxi lore, the possum character was often portrayed as a liar or a trickster because of his real life ability to play dead. Oh, this is also diversity and plurality, and this was curiosity and perseverance. I don't think I said that. My apologies. The possum card represents the beauty of plurality. Each of us is the child of thousands of ancestors, and of whom contributed something unique to the DNA of who we are today. So stop lurking in the shadows and take pride in the multifaceted jewel that you are, right? Not only are you yourself, but you're all the lives that you've ever lived, and you were literally created to live at this time for a specific person, and that embodiment is truly what's going to unlock shit for you. Peace out. Hello, welcome to pile number 2, the brecciated jasper, on how to become more authentic. Let's get into it. I have the 5 of swords, the 7 of cups, the 4 of cups, the 2 of cups, the 4 of wands, the 6 of pentacles, the fool, judgment. Uh, yeah, I'm sorry, I was about to reintroduce a card that we already looked at. So something is happening, obviously. Um, I'm seeing a shift into lightheartedness. Um, where there wasn't lightheartedness. Like all of the sudden, you have found your footing that has brought you security in such a way that you no longer have to think about things that you used to have to think about. That's the overall vibe of this reading. Um, like when your eyelashes are long and they're always in your way. That's my life. So, where do I want to start? So, yes. I feel like there has been an event. And when this event took place, you are tasked with both like a gift and the ability to choose. Like the gift wasn't really a choice, right? Like it was too good of a gift to pass up. And you knew when you saw it that this was the place that you were going. And I'm particularly talking about these cups cards. So, in regard to the Four of Cups, this can be apathy, boredom, a pause, a time of reflection, knowing that there's an opportunity, but maybe you're not quite ready to move forward. So, the introduction of things, but also being like, is this the thing that I need? Is this the thing that I want? For you in this situation, pile number two, there is a very intense recognition. Sorry. There is much recognition that you don't want to remain the same anymore. So I'm gonna get morbid because that's what's on my mind. In the same way, okay, that the rat is associated with the plague, and through the death of millions of people, there was the dawning of a new society. That is what I'm looking at for you, pile number two, when it comes to the new thing. And it's a good thing. And it's going to be emotional and poignant and fulfilling in a depth that you weren't expecting. It's going to be a bit of a surprise. When I think of this, okay, when I think of the Two of Cups, right, this can be a chance meeting, right? It can be love, it can be partnership, it can be mutual attraction, okay? It's emotional, right? Because it's the cups. In this journey that you're on right now, it feels like fulfillment of almost like a wish, an idea that you've been manifesting, something that will clearly illuminate um you. Like I'm imagining you on a stage or in a forest or something, and the light or the sun just shines down upon you immediately, and there you are, and it is so clear and bright, and you're like, thank fuck that the opportunity came, and that even though it was disguised potentially as this giant fat ass plague rat, what was behind it were these roses, right? A love affair of an opportunity, something so grand and so fulfilling and so just bellissimo that you went for it. Maybe something that people were potentially like, no, dog, that's not right for you. And you said, fuck all of that noise. You said, fuck all of that noise. I'm going for it. In regard to this, great news. It's working out. It's good. It's fulfilling. It's uplifting. The reason why I feel like we've taken this energy and it's been backed by this rose situation, this love situation, sort of like you cheersing your cup to the thing, is because we also have this Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is like about an abundance of gifts, okay? Bro is standing there looking at all of the cups, and each one of the cups has a different thing. And he's like, how do I choose which one of the things out of which one of the cups? There's too much fucking abundance. I have choice overload, but I know that whatever choice I make, it's going to be the right choice. Okay. And so, like in this instance, right, you are the sun, okay, and you're being guided by the moon, and you know what choice you need to make because it's backed by this, right, this very intense feeling of just knowing, of fondness, okay, of sort of like a kinship for the thing, right? This emotional opportunity, right? Which also has some sort of like freedom associated with it, where potentially like money is coming up for you. This is a very stable card. The reciprocity of giving and receiving money, either you're able to acquire a bunch of money or you're able to give a bunch of money because again you have the money to give or you have received the money. Either way, this is a card of much stability. So it's like whenever you're able to get your emotions correct and you're able to dial in on what it is that is being presented to you, and you know without a doubt, like you know very emphatically, like this is the gift that I want, this is the choice that I'm making, this choice, like ultimately, like you are being presented the thing and then you are one of the cups and then the choice is one of the other cups. You know that it's got your back more than anything else, more than anything else, okay, which is great. Because I feel like you've been sort of on this little budding journey, where like the flowers of this wealth have not yet been open, but you have been looking for a way to open them. And in this time of finding your authenticity, it feels like this is about aligning your emotions and your career, pile number two, that you're able to find and open up to a piece of yourself that you weren't really sure was there to begin with, but is slowly starting to uncover in time. Okay. With the Four of Wands, I like that this is um, kind of like an eyeball, right? I like that this is like an eyeball. Imagine stability as pillars. Imagine you in the center of the pillars. If you put a platform on the pillars, you would be able to stand tall and securely because that is the foundation that has been built, right? Without the emotional work and the inner knowing that has allowed you to align yourself with this gift, this opportunity, this thing that fulfills you emotionally, but potentially intellectually, financially, in a way that makes you more secure. Without that coming through, you wouldn't have those foundations of security. And it's almost like the security that you have been building, right? On the back end, like knowing that you've been leading up to something, like having an inkling that something is coming because there's been like rumblings, right, within your emotions, like you're kind of fucking bored or whatever. Without that knowing on the back end, you wouldn't have the knowing on the front end. You know what I'm saying? It's like two legs were being created in order to create the other two legs in order to create the foundation on which to put on top of the legs. Oh god, I hope that makes sense. In regard to the judgment card, right? And in regard to the judgment card, we are looking at you stepping the fuck up and saying yes. Saying yes. This is for me. I'm doing this. I'm making this choice. I've sort of like been through the days of reckoning of holding myself back, and now I'm ready to move forward, okay? In reference to the Fool, it really just seems like this new opportunity for you, this gift, this wish, this thing that you've manifested is really allowing you to see the world with this childlike new energy, right? The ability to ask questions and take stock and learn and be new and non-judgmental, because like you still have to find your sea legs through all of this. But even though you have to find your sea legs, you still know that this is the best direction to go. So don't be don't be arrogant because you knew that this was coming, okay? And in the back of your mind there might be a little tiny voice that says, well, bitch, I was manifesting this. Don't be arrogant about it, okay? Remain humble, okay? Because just as quickly as things come, things can quickly go if they're mishandled, and you wouldn't want to squander that. As far as this message of conflict, let's look at the imagery on the card, which is, of course, a worm that has been sliced in half. Um, and the query of this card is, right, are you winning an argument and alienating the other people in your life for the sake of winning an argument? Or are you winning an argument because you need to win the argument? Like, what are your motives for being argumentative? What are your motives for using your wit? Is this something that you need to hammer in, or is there a better way to reside? Because either you're tearing the people in the conflict apart, or you're tearing yourself apart. There is the potentiality, though, that you become a brand new version of yourself, right? The lore about worms is that even if you slice them in half, they can go on living, right? So, sort of like a dissection, right? The ability to cut yourself in half and continue to live. Do you want to live without that part of yourself? Is this going to be more of a rebirth? And like, what is the aspect of conflict that you're fighting against? Is there something particularly going on that you haven't had a chance to focus on and deal with? And is it going to impact the way in which you receive this gift? And is it going to make having the gift more difficult because there are things that you haven't processed either intellectually or um, interpersonally intellectually? So, like, between you and all of the other people that this will affect, have you talked to them about your hopes and dreams? Did you give them an idea that you were manifesting this? Has it been under wraps? Has it surprised them too? Were you were you able to talk to them about the gift when you got it, or were you just like, fuck yeah, let's move to Montreal without any explanation? Like, what exactly is going on? Which is why I warn about the arrogance. Like, this will be a very new time, even though it's the time that you were supposed to be having. So, like, kudos. This is helping you reach that level of authenticity that you weren't even really looking for, because I get the the feeling that this pile number 2 is like already a pretty stable person, and they felt like they got it, you know, they've got it, and there wasn't really too much soul searching they were doing. They were pretty like steadfast in the shit that they got going on, and the career that they have, and the relationships that they have, and the place that they live. But for some reason there has been some soul searching going on that has led them on this new path, and it's all going to be a really grand adventure, which is also the vibe of the Fool card. So I just encourage you to take everything one step at a time, and just talking and communicating, because I feel like you might be a butthole on accident. So I do have some oracle cards for you. I've drawn two for you, sorry, two different kinds for you, pile number 2, because I could not get enough from the first deck. So I have some from the Terra Oracle deck. I have 4 to be exact. And I also have some from the Southern Gothic Oracle deck. I think for me, the tarot reader over here, you don't have a choice. You just have to sit here and listen to the video. I'm going to start with the Terra cards, because that is what I'm being told to do. Bear with me. I'm so tired, but I am happy to be here. So I have the Koi with Fortune. I have the Praying Mantis with Mindfulness. I have the Platypus with Individuality. And I have the Hippo with Conflict, okay? And we're going to start with that hippo. We're going to start with that conflict, because honestly, I really would like to know more about the conflict that they are talking about in the tarot reading, because there's only one card about it. So hippopotamus is on page number 78, and we're going there, and we're about to arrive, and we have arrived. And let's see what we have to say here. This card appears when it is time to address the conflict in your life. The hippo spends most of its days beneath the water, protecting itself from the hot, draining sun. You may find yourself underneath emotional waters, hiding away from the heat and the scorching sun. Be careful that you aren't sinking too deep. While the hippo manages to make itself comfortable, you know what? I'm going to hold this card up so you can stare at it. While the hippo manages to make itself comfortable off land, they are actually unable to swim. In fact, they can't even float. Conflict can be overwhelming, especially for those who aren't used to it. Try not to shy away from your emotions. Not all conflict is harmful. It can allow us to dig deeper into ourselves and who we are. It is a crucial part of development, and it is crucial to confront difficult situations in your life head on when they float to the surface before the waters rise above your water. Sorry, before the waters rise above your head. This is definitely into, I want to say, as oh, pardon me, sorry, microphone. This is also into the murky waters that are, of course, the cups cards. The cups are all emotional emotions. Your reading had a lot of cups in it. 3 cups cards. It's quite a lot. And I think that this is where I want to say the arrogance is coming in, where it's being used as a protection mechanism, which is why I was saying that it would be beneficial for you to talk to people in your life about the situation that you're experiencing, the plan that you had, and why, although everything is new and crazy, this is something that you want to go on, because there is the potentiality that some of you in this reading have a partner, and that this is going to affect your relationship, and it's going to cause you to have conversations about the future and plans and what the intentions are between the two of you, and all that's fucking great. It's all great, and you should embrace it, because all that stuff is super cool, and don't be afraid. And something that I have been told a lot is that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, so just assume they're the right person and go for it. Let's do the platypus next. Hell yeah. Platypus with individuality. Okay. Stay weird. The platypus is pretty weird, okay? This aquatic egg-laying mammal isn't worried about scientists' expectations of them. They are a unique creature unlike any other. This animal is an encouragement to move past labels, stereotypes, and others' assumptions. Instead of worrying about defining what and who you are for the comfort of others, be content with your individuality. This card could be a red flag that concerns about what other people think could be hampering your ability to reach your full potential. From the clothes you wear to the books you read to your home decor, who are you pleasing, you or someone else? The platypus asks you to stop wondering what other people expect and stop trying to forge the perfect picture. The platypus has an incredible reception. Bleh, bleh. The platypus has incredible reception sensors that help it find food in the dark, mucky waters. Their bills are actually tuned to sense any slight movement or change in the electrical field around them. Hmm. When the platypus arrives in your reading, it asks you to feed your individuality by knowing where and what is around you. It is impossible to know who you are as an individual if you don't know what your options are. Like a buffet, we all go down the line and take in a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Okay? Have you ever been sitting at the table waiting for the server to bring you something out? Get up and explore. Decide what you like and what is just as important. Decide what you don't like. Learn from those around you and let others help you decide who you want to be. Begin to build up your own story of who you are. This is why you gotta talk to people. This is really what the talking to people and not being arrogant and allowing people into your life to understand you is really part of it. Because I kind of feel like for some of you, this relationship that you're in and like the potentiality of moving, because I feel like moving might be a really big part of this, is actually you finding out that like your partner like legit is your ride or die person, and maybe part of what's holding you back and causing you some like internal conflict with all of this is that you're afraid to lose them. But I think that it's not until, I don't want to say test people, but it's not until we have these opportunities do we see who is going to be with us. And right, like your relationship or the outcome of the situation may not look the way you want it to look, but that doesn't mean that it's not right for you. So giving it a try, right? Rising to the occasion, accepting this position of both being the fool and rising to the occasion of the judgment, those two things are really going to help you parse out and understand what it means for you to be an individual with all of the different energies that are going on. The popping up of the opportunity, the accepting of the opportunity, including those people that you love in the opportunity, and deciding what to do with this thing, which appears to be like very wealthy and exciting. Next, we're going to talk about the praying mantis with mindfulness. So, the praying mantis is patient. They are happy to silently stalk prey while they wait for the exact moment to ambush. You are being called to uphold a core tenet of mindfulness: patience. Instead of pushing or yearning, allow things to unfold with time. Accept the present moment without expectations for what it could or should be. The praying mantis says that you need to slow your body and mind. This struggle is not one outside yourself, but a struggle to fully appreciate and enjoy where you currently stand, leaving feelings of judgment behind. This card tells you that as you patiently grow your this card tells you that as you patiently grow your practice of awareness, you will become aware of the answers that were always there. Yeah. definitely just continuing to take reflection and pause for all of these things that are happening. Maybe not like jumping full fledged, like full to the gun, but like considering all of your options. Because, you know, like with a wonderful opportunity comes wonderful responsibility, right? And it's something that can't be taken um lightly if you want to do it correctly, which is why of course I had said that arrogance would not be serving you here. So the koi with fortune, um the koi reminds you that you reap what you sow. This bright and bold fish has long been a revered animal in Japan, symbolizing fortune, and the perseverance it requires. You are being asked to take stock of your checks and balances. What have you sown in your life, for better or worse? And be aware that the wheel of fortune in your life is spinning. You are about to roll over to a new chapter. What will be your karma? The koi fish is unique as it is able to recognize the hand that feeds it. Know what you have been eating and who has fed it to you. Recognize your own actions and inner voice. What are they saying? Okay. What are they saying? You get to decide what you want your colors to be. The koi is a message that this is a fortunate time for you. If you can reorganize and direct your intentions, you have the potential to create lasting positive karma. The koi has a lifespan intensely dependent on its quality of life. When kept in the right conditions, the koi has been known to live up to hundreds of years. Aim for longevity. Build yourself a strong and confident karmic foundation. You'll thank yourself later. So, this not only talks about the Six of Pentacles that I mentioned earlier, but it also talks about this Four of Wands, right? Two ways that you can see that your foundation is being built well. Um, Both like structurally, right? Literally structurally, and then also by reciprocity, giving and receiving in abundant financial places. Because like what like you do, I mean, this is just my opinion, but like you don't need all the money you're ever going to make, and there's a lot of good that can be done with money. And just know that money is in a cycle as well as fortune, right? And so being able to accept and give and accept and give is very important. Mm. Okay. So then, of course, we have the Southern Gothic Oracle deck that I pulled. We have the dog with loyalty and belonging. I have the black walnut with discernment and self worth. And then I also have the horseshoe with luck and chance. Let's actually start with the black walnut. Black walnut. Okay. The black walnut tree is found in forests throughout the southeast. It has a myriad of food, medicinal, practical, and folkloric uses. Lore about the black walnut tree goes back centuries in Europe, where it also grows, leading to beliefs among white American settlers that witches gather beneath its branches and that lightning is drawn to it. In the Ozark Hills, the outer shell of the black walnut is said to resemble a skull and the nut inside a brain. So it is believed to cure diseases of the head. This has meant that an old timer, an old time healer, pardon me, might prescribe eating walnuts or carrying walnuts in a pocket for ailments of the head. If you have drawn this card, the focus for you is on your head. Your discernment transcends the ego, allowing you to have a keener awareness of your self worth. Perception is reality, as they say, so relax and try to see past the usual assumptions, right? allow yourself to go with the flow and know the ease that you're creating also allows more to come into your view as far as like wealth and abundance and clarity in your relationships and the path that you're supposed to go on and so forth. And part of a lot of that is this Fool energy as well, right? Because this is a very chill ass, non judgmental ass way to be dealing with things instead of being so like adult about things, but really being in the spontaneity of life. And like I think that trying to intellectualize things all of the time instead of like going by the way of how your emotions are teaching you can sometimes hurt you, which I think is what discernment means for you in this case. Yes. Okay, the dog with loyalty and belonging. The dog, in the old days, every southern farmer kept several dogs, and it was said that the further remote their place was from town, the greater the number of dogs. The faithfulness of a good yaller dog is well known, and sometimes that legend extends beyond the grave. Throughout the South, the lore associated with dogs is most often of the ghost variety. A well-trained Virginia hunting dog on a scent will lead her hunters through the thickest laurel bushes and thorny briars, through muddy bottoms, and even through flames. When she has closed in on a raccoon or fox, the dog will tilt back her head and bray proudly to tell her person that she has succeeded. The dog card is a reminder of faithfulness. Are you steadfast in your commitment to your loved ones? Are you a dedicated member of your pack? Consider the importance of interconnectedness and the role that teamwork plays in survival. Yeah, man, it's really important that you are able to bring this relationship forward with you to this next place. And I don't know, like, the relationship could, of course, be um, with with your boss, or like it could be a romantic relationship, um it could be a friendship, it could be somebody that you like reach out to in the city that you know that you're moving to, because I really feel like whatever is happening is it's involving a new location, it's involving travel, it's involving transformation of yourself through exploration, both literally and figuratively. And there is just this really big calling that I see to have like an actual partner. And so like whoever it ends up being is going to be this really faithful partner that you really want beside you, someone that you really cherish and someone that really cherishes you. So reach out to them, man. Like whoever it is, whatever this opportunity is, you deserve to have recognition and support and love when it comes to it, because it's going to be super cool. It's going to be super cool. And like when you finally figure out what it is, like this is going to bridge the gap between maybe this place where you weren't necessarily feeling super authentic about things. You just sort of had like an inkling that shit was kind of whack, and now you're like, shit was never whack. I've been dope this whole time. I forgot to do housekeeping at the beginning of this reading. If you liked it, loved it, cared for it, please like and comment and tell me what you loved about it. I want to hear from you. I also sell readings on Etsy in the 15, 30-minute, and 1 hour variety. So if you liked this, you'll love a personal one. Peace. Hi. Welcome to pile number 3. It's today. And pile number 3 is this Crimson Healer. So this is the crystal that you have chosen. Welcome to pile number 3. And as you may remember from the introduction, this is all about how to become the most authentic self. For this reading, I have the 10 of Swords, Strength, the Star, the World, the Ace of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, the Emperor, the Ten of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles. Now, I just want to say, first and foremost, that this reading is about transition and the removal of somebody toxic in your life. For some of you, this feels like detaching from your parents, primarily. Um, it's it's the time, I think, where a lot of us are waking up that we don't need to be involved with some stank ass people. So that could be a friend, a family member, a past relationship, a current relationship, somebody that you're recognizing that you don't need to be involved in anymore, with anymore. The Emperor card is typically one of authority and power. Somebody who is a leadership, someone who demands those things, potentially. And this is the figure in the reading that we're trying to get rid of. I'm not getting very good vibes from this card. It's kind of dominating and generally speaking, just not very cool. A lot of like, um, the thing that I heard in my mind was like religious oppression, so that could be going on for somebody. But just a lot of authority and control over you that has prevented you from blooming, right? So, for some of you, most of you, we are at this place now where there has been a decision that has been made. And it has sort of come up both over time and overnight, where you've woken up and realizing this is no longer the life that I want to live. This has nothing to do with me. I'm actually in incredible pain. The process, though, of removing yourself from this Emperor card is going to be painful because there are going to be two things that we have to heal from, right? Both the removing of that person, so the grief and loss of that relationship, because even if a relationship is painful, right, can be really difficult to get over, and in some cases it can be even worse to get over because it's hard to gain closure with somebody when they don't feel like they've done anything wrong. And if this tree is as tall as I think it is, and the person that the tree is leaning over is as short as I think it is in this analogy, then it's going to be really hard to walk up to that person and say, I'm cutting you out of my life for reasons X, Y, and Z. Do you have anything to say about that? And the answer would just be, you're wrong. Um, so it's hard to gain closure in circumstances like that. So I really feel like there's going to be not only a dramatic sense of loss for you to no longer have that person in your life, but there's also going to be a lot of healing that has to go on from the trauma that you've sustained with your relationship with the Emperor. Um, and it is going to be a really blissful time for you. We have the Star, right? And this card is all about new beginnings and renewal and just like ever flowing. Um, how do I want to say this? Like, for us in this reading, it's the ever flowing of emotions. I get the sense that for pile number 3, because you've been trapped in this dynamic with the Emperor card, right? There has been a prevention of emotional vulnerability and the way that you would like to see yourself act in relationships, the way you would like to see yourself be perceived in relationships, how you want to act in general, like in the world, because this figure has always been behind you, um, saying things to you. And right now it has become what's in your mind. And so, even though we're like, again, removing the emperor from our lives, we still have all of these swords to deal with that are stuck in our mind and body. However, with the inclusion of the star, like things are only going to get better as more time progresses. So I feel like you're potentially at an age where you have come to the understanding that not only is this person not one that you need in your life, but you are maybe potentially going to therapy, or you're in a spiritual coaching program, or you're doing some energy healing or acupuncture or something that is moving the stuck energy out of your body and also allowing you to process the trauma that you've sustained. And like the emotions within you are flowing at a rate in which they've never flowed before. And that emotionality, or like emotional clarity, it's hard to put that into words, is like only allowing you to soar higher and higher. So these cards are like, right, as you go farther up, this goes farther down. That doesn't mean that there won't be like tinges of this, but that does mean that this is really helping you get farther and farther away from this 10 of swords. um, there is a great amount of courage and intuition and psychic ability potentially, and just the ability to like co-create with the universe the life that you want. The world in this instance is really you developing the world that you want now that you have removed yourself from the emperor. So I see that you are using this newfound courage, but also this, um it's like a humble, gentle energy where um it is allowing you to move in a not like a calculated way, but the way that allows you, it's like an intuitive movement that allows you to heal things um, one step at a time. And the courage that it has taken you to get to the point where you're ready to deal with the situation is the same courage and perseverance that is going to allow you to, again, help remove these swords. So like these cards are sort of working in tandem for you, where you have the capacity to go up and up and up, like you're being guided, things are moving forward, your emotions are coming through, you're allowing yourself to feel and move and bend and like be this lovely goddess figure or godlike figure, right? Where you're in touch with the divine, you realize you're part of the divine. Things are really chilling out for you because you are ready to experience that version of your life. And the strength card is really helping you do that. You're tapping into something that you've always had, but you haven't been ready to move into until right now. And with that moving, you're able to create your own reality. The cycles that you were once stuck in are coming to an end. And that's also what a lot of these cards are um, referencing back to. Like the stars referencing back to that, and the world is referencing back to that, and the Ace of Wands is referencing back to that, and Strength is referencing back to that. So it's really just like all of the sudden, all of these things for you have turned on at once. And now that they have been turned on, you are just zooming through. You're going places, you're feeling shit you never thought you could do. It's super cool for you. You're finally feeling like, wow, I can do this. And by this, it's life and living in the way that you want to be seen and heard. And also, like, excuse me, also, now that you don't have this emperor figure present in your life anymore, um, there will be a lot less second guessing and a lot less wondering. as to whether or not what you're doing is right for you, because they've always been um, just back here, yapping at you, saying things. I think of I think of that scene in Arrested Development where Lucille is talking to Michael about how anxious and scared Buster is of the world, and then she shouts at Buster, "Get away from the stove, you're gonna set your hair on fire." And Michael says, "Yeah, I wonder where he got that." It's sort of like that, but to a higher degree. Um, so yeah, that's again why it's going to take so much time for you to heal things. But like, you are moving quickly. Like, whatever is happening, the way in which you're able to process this trauma and heal yourself is like so much quicker than you anticipated, because like you're ready and you're not afraid of the pain it causes to heal, as well as the joy it causes that you receive from healing. Like, you're ready for both sides of life. So when it comes to this Two of Pentacles, that is really the balance that I'm seeing. The Two of Pentacles is really about sort of like, we think of it as like work-life balance, but it can be any two things that you need to balance. And for this, I feel like it is balancing the new programming and the old programming, and probably recognizing that, with the removal of some programming, there's a bit of an identity crisis. There's a bit of a wondering and an understanding, like, am I who I think I am? Am I this person that the Emperor says I am? Am I as cool as I think I am? Do I have the potential to be who I am, or will I always be stuck? So for this reading, it's more like the ego and the reality that you want to create, right? Because remember that the ego is always something that wants to keep you continuing patterns that you've always kept, because that reality for your ego is what keeps you safe. And this is not true. We all know it's not true. You can have really bad maladaptive practices that keep you in some bad habits, right? Keep you from processing stuff, keep you from examining the world in a helpful way that helps you grow. So, within that support for you and recognition that even though things are going quickly, you're not going to change overnight, and that you're still going to have some bad days. And that doesn't mean that you suck, or that you're not healing, and that you're not a good person. Okay? I just want to like really hammer that in for you. Grace is needed during this time, um, because you're being supported, right? Like, you really do have the capacity to do this, and there's no reason for you to question it. So whenever those things pop up, just remember that you're working on balancing those two sides of yourself. You're working on integrating and letting go, and it's a long, slow road. Okay. So also don't try to rush, because you can't. You literally can't rush. They won't let you. And by they, I of course mean the Lords. Um, However, with all of this work, we are seeing reward, baby. Reward, reward, reward. Okay? Things to celebrate. Much this is all celebration. This is fucking all your work coming together. This is you with your friends under a rainbow and a little dog looking at the sky and going, fuck yeah, bro. So like, you're getting there, okay? You have a reason to celebrate. You recognized and woke up, this isn't the relationship I want anymore. These aren't the people I want in my life anymore. This isn't how I want to think anymore. This isn't how I want to act anymore. And then you went out and did it. So there is a reason to celebrate. You are going to be so rewarded with so much bliss and the kind of relationships that you want, and the kind of people that you want, and the kind of opportunities that you want, because once you change the inside, the outside starts to change too, because the outside is a reflection of your inside, right? And so it's almost like you've been there, right? And that could be part of what this balancing aspect is changing that reality for yourself, balancing your perception of things while also recognizing that your reality is going to change slowly over time, and like you understanding that sometimes your perception of things is flawed and that you need to rework the way that you're looking at things in order to rework your reality. That could be a big part of it as well, as far as balance is concerned. And then, just this nine of pentacles. All right, the things that you were sowing are being reaped, and it is a positive aspect. Think of great wealth, and it can be literally monetarily, but it can also be, think of maybe potentially all these new pentacles as people in your life that have really come to stand by you during this time. um, Even though you have lost a relationship, for example, your parents or loved one, by choice, right? And you will need support during this time, and you could be gaining new friends through this experience, or you could be really seeing who is truly in your corner during this experience, because um right, there are friends that truly see us underneath all of our grime, and then there are friends who are only friends with our grime, right? And sometimes as we remove the grime, those people don't want to deal with our shit anymore because they only were there for the grime, right? Misery loves misery. So just accept that as well, and know that if they were supposed to be there, they would be. Okay? Everything that is happening for you right now, even if it seems like dramatic, awful turmoil, is for your benefit, and you are exactly where you need to be, experiencing exactly what you're supposed to be experiencing. Let's get into your oracle cards. I have four for you today. They are, of course, from the Southern Gothic Oracle Deck. I have the bottle tree with meditation and intercession. I have black eyed peas with wealth and prosperity. I have the copperhead with deception and bad influences. I already see what that is too. Okay, and I have the peach with love and fertility. I want to talk about the copperhead first. He is number 15. And that's funny I said he because this emperor card is could be a male figure for some of you. So this copperhead, right? Deception and bad influences. In Appalachia, there is a set of Pentecostalism, a sect of Pentecostalism called the Church of God, with signs following, also known as snake handlers. This is a very real phenomenon in which preachers bring poisonous serpents, often captured in the woods near their churches, into a sanctuary to pick them up and handle them roughly and dare the snakes to bite them. This is a very performative way of publicly testing or proving their faith in God. Perhaps the copperhead represents someone in your life who is a bad influence and whose input should be avoided as though it were poisonous. Otherwise, it could be your own deep insecurities plaguing your mind with toxic thoughts, making you second guess your own intuition and leading you into poor decisions. If you are experiencing fear or anxiety, now is the time to face your fear head on. Summon your power to recognize and avoid bad influences. Beware of your dark side. The pursuit of unhealthy pleasures could lead to very bad outcomes for you. Okay, so this is absolutely enhancing what I was talking about with the Emperor card. Only this is a very real representation, other than these swords, obviously, of the actual kind of like venom um, that has been sown into you. And what I am imagining, the vision that I'm given, right, is that this is acting like a snake bite, and there has to be a way for you to quite literally suck the venom out, but also um, receive your own anti venom, right? And you are there receiving your own anti-venom, right? Like we have this happening for you. You're unlocking gateways and connecting and removing. But there has to be also acceptance for you on your end where you're able to let things go and allow allow the way it feels to have the poison removed from you to be a sensation that you feel and release. Because that sensation is something that you need to remember when you think that you're about to get up to your old tricks, right? When you meet people, they give you a vibe, they let you know who they are by the things that they say. You being involved with this Emperor character has given you clarity into knowing what those vibes are. So there shouldn't be any reason for you to allow yourself to get bitten again. But sometimes it takes a long time for lessons to happen, and that's okay. It's okay for lessons to need to be learned over and over again. It's all right. But now that you know what the venom feels like, you can feel it start to like onset in you before you get too deep because you've experienced it before. So there's two versions. Again, there's two versions of this feeling that you need to commit to memory. It's the feeling of the venom and the feeling of the removal of the venom, because one is, it's daylight and dark for you, dude. It's daylight and dark, and that capacity of understanding what those two versions of reality are is what's going to continue to allow you to build towards this area of joy and reciprocity and reward, right? So I think that's all I have to say about that. Okay. Let's do the peach next. Okay. With fertility and love. Long before the peach emoji, okay, this fuzzy and juicy fruit has been a symbol of fertility, love, and sweetness. In the Carolinas, there's an old expression, you're sweet as a peach and twice as juicy. Peaches are arguably the most wonderful, most delicious, most universally favored fruit. Most of us associate it with Georgia, where it's the state's official mascot. Introduced during Reconstruction to help Southern farmers diversify their crops, it represents a new beginning for planters post slavery. In art, the peach can symbolize femininity, youth, virtue, and good works, or by contrast, like the emoji, love and fecundity. If you draw the peach card, embrace the fruitful bounty of its message. You have reached a time where you are called to taste the fruits that you have been working so hard to grow. How can you surrender to the sweetness of life? What are ways that you can enjoy the peachy moments in your life a little more? Okay. This is calling back to the strength card for you as well as the star. I think that the strength card can be quite a feminine card. The original Rider Waite deck, right, is a woman who is petting this lion, right, gentle enough, kind enough, bold enough to pet this lion, um, even though it's a fucking lion. As well as the star card for you. Things are happening, and you get to enjoy and celebrate that bounty. And um, it's only your memories that will stop you. And you're working hard on it. And I'm sorry that I keep harping on it, but that is what's happening in the reading. Next we're going to talk about these black-eyed peas with wealth and prosperity. So, one of the South's long held traditions is to eat black eyed peas and collard greens in some form on New Year's Day. According to lore, each pea, the one that one consumes, will equate to 1 day's good luck in the new year, which is why some say you should eat 365 of them and no more. Others say you should leave a few behind on your plate in order to share your luck with others. The collard greens represents the green of money, and the cornbread represents the yellow of gold. The black-eyed peas card is a sign of good fortune coming your way. Your timing and direction are in sync, and the choices you have made in recent seasons, such as sowing your peas, will have the payoff soon. Like the hope of New Year's Day, you are about to embark on a prosperous new journey that has the potential to serve your earthly needs and then some. Keep in mind your sense of self as you move forward into a place of greater affluence, so that you remember your kinfolk who have helped you, who have helped to rise you up, who have helped you to rise up. Yeah, man. Like, I couldn't say it any better. Couldn't say it any clearer. Shit's happening. Okay? Shit is fucking happening. This is like a brand new awakening for you. A brand new day, a brand new life, brand new, brand new, brand new. Then, lastly, this bottle tree with meditation and intercession. So, the tradition of the bottle tree harkens back many generations to the earliest American settlements in the South. People made use of discarded glass bottles to dazzle any evil spirits lurking about, who would be attracted to the pretty blue glass in the sunshine. Once the spirit entered a bottle, it couldn't find its way out, and the evil would be captured. By pulling the bottle tree card, you have tapped into your own world of spirits, a glittering blue realm of fantasy and imagination. Glass, especially opaque or colored glass, is the representation of dreams, illusions, and imagination. The bottle tree can imply that you are a dreamer who is both excited and afraid of the things that you have seen in your subconscious. Try to avoid cynicism and tune yourself into the world of new ideas. Take a moment to reflect on your dreams and make rational decisions to achieve imaginative or creative goals. So, the thing that I stated earlier about the creation of your own world, right? This is really another way to talk about it. You could potentially have a very deep connection to the spirit world, your ancestors or angels, whoever you choose to believe in. You've got a connection in that they're ready, willing, and able to step in and help you co-create this reality for yourself. I like the imagery of the trapping of the spirits, because people, the person, the way in which you've cut yourself off from this, there's the potential, right, that people are wishing you harm for deciding to become a new version of yourself, right? And I like to think of the entrapment in these bottles as those thoughts and whispers of spells that have been cast your way, um, to be trapped and no longer able to act in your life, right? You are cutting off a part of the body before the gangrene spreads. Like, there is no way for these things to reach you anymore because of the no contact, and because of the way in which you've chosen to heal yourself, excuse me, through the actions that you're taking. There is nothing but reward and joy and clarity on the other side of this. We just don't know, how long it's going to take. But the farther the more work that you do, the longer that you're on this path, the more that you continue to drive forward in healing, the higher and higher you're going to soar. and the more and more like reward and desire and joy and excitement that you're going to receive. So keep going and know that you are being supported by the people in your life who are around you, who love you, and know that you're being supported spiritually as well. And when you feel that you're lost and lonely, pray about it. Just say anything about it. If you want to work on cultivating more of a relationship with your spirit world, all you have to do is ask if there is something that you would like to be shown. Um, if there's something that you feel you need to know, you can ask for a very specific sign. And look, I'm gonna just plug my stuff really quick and say that I do both energy healing and akashic record healing, where we can heal past and present timelines. So if that's something, pile number 3, that you're interested in, I would be happy to speak with you. Links are, where they are. And if you enjoyed this, I forgot to do housekeeping at the beginning. If you enjoyed this, I would really love some feedback in the comments, or just, throw me a like and a subscribe as you do on the channels. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.